Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively the Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Welcome back to Talkin' Shit, where we are talking all sorts of shit. Schitt's Creek, that is. Today, we are talking about Season 5, Episode 8, The Hospies. I'm Jess Sterling, and of course, I'm not alone. I'm joined by someone who's definitely a little bit Alexis. Stuart! Stuart, how are you?
I'm pregnant. That's it. That's the audition.
You're hired.
Amazing.
Will you do nudity, Stuart?
Absolutely not. For the sake of this podcast, absolutely not.
I am so excited that we are finally here. We finally made it. It only has taken over a year. I've kept my mouth shut. Somehow Stuart avoided all of the spoilers of this incredible moment on this episode.
How has this been kept from me? I'm outraged that somehow I've not seen this. I will confess, I have seen thumbnails on YouTube of like her doing the whole like arm splay kind of like movement from the dance. Other than that, nothing. No context, no nothing. I'm so glad it wasn't spoiled, but I'm also outraged that I haven't experienced this up until this point. Yeah,
this is one of those moments that, like, other moments, if it was spoiled out of context, I wouldn't have really cared that much. But this one, I so badly wanted you to like enjoy completely unspoiled. And I got my wish because we're here to talk about it this episode. Of course, if you haven't already, subscribe. We're like 15 people away from hitting 200 on YouTube. So
hit that button.
Do it now. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you, but please just do it. But yeah, we have to talk about this episode because it's everything. I'm going to do a quick little recap at the top and then we'll talk about it because we have some happy moments, but we also have some pretty sad moments that I can't wait to talk about. So let's get into it. Johnny and Stevie are heading to Elm Glen. What a town name anyway, for the Regional Hospitality Awards, aka the Hospies. Knowing that Amir will be at the awards, Stevie decides to make the trip not just a one-day quickie with Amir, but a couple days sojourn with him to his next couple of motels. Things don't go as planned though, when Amir doesn't want to take their relationship to the next level and breaks up with a broken-hearted Stevie. Luckily, Johnny is a gem and a peach and takes care of her, and Moira later approaches Stevie about playing Sally in Cabaret, baby. Speaking of Cabaret, Jocelyn and Moira are still trying to find someone for the role of Sally. When Alexis overhears, she demands she audition with her critically reviewed song, A Little Bit Alexis. She's an icon. She's a queen. She's terrible, but it's incredible. We love to see it. She ends up with some cat role or something where she wears like a sexy outfit and she has no lines. But she seems okay with it. So are we. Lastly, David and Patrick have hired Ronnie to fix the store's bathroom for public use. But when things get delayed, Patrick tries to play hardball with Ronnie, who will not be trifled with. A gift basket from Rose Apothecary fixes up the situation, though, as their bathroom is getting retiled. Stuart, that's our episode.
Hands down, one of my favorite episodes thus far. Just it is such a belter of an episode. One thing I will say, though, before we get anyone writing in, it's not a cat role that Alexis has. She's a Kit Kat Club dancer number 6.
So sorry. Yeah. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is. I heard cat and I wrote it down.
Which makes me think that we need to make you watch Cabaret. Because I haven't seen it in the longest time. And I barely kind of remember a lot of the kind of details.
I was very tempted this morning when I rewatched the episode to do some research on Cabaret because I have some notes as to like who will be starring in this, of the townsfolk who will be starring in Cabaret. And I need to know exactly what their roles are to be able to judge if they're well cast, you know?
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. I am concerned. Not that I have a great knowledge of Ray, but I'm just concerned by Ray's presence on that board. What is Ray doing there?
He's a jack of all trades, Stuart. He's a photographer. He's a real estate agent. He does everything, including performances.
We hope. We hope.
Yeah. So I mean, overall, you said this is one of your favorite episodes. Where do you want to start? We have 3 different storylines to discuss.
3 really strong storylines as well, I thought. Like,
yeah,
we always talk about like that kind of ABC plots and stuff like that. I felt like there was some solid A's and B's. I don't think there was necessarily a C plot, even though the David and Patrick is probably that one. Should we get that one out of the way?
Yeah, let's do it. They decide, like, the cafe has a public bathroom, so they get a ton of foot traffic, and they're like, we can't keep this bathroom private anymore. And David orders some kind of very expensive, unique tile. Ronnie runs out, and it seems like, I don't know why, but this is interrupting the rest of the business. Why do they need to, like, tarp off the rest of the building?
I guess if you're cutting marble tiles, that like it gets really dusty and stuff like that, so you have to tarp over everything and stuff like that. Seal the room.
That's what I'm saying.
Like seal that off and stuff. But again, any excuse for things to be as they are. This whole thing just made me so angry with Patrick, but also I've never identified with him more. Because I think everyone's been in that situation where you're desperate for something to be done. You're waiting on someone else, and it seems like they're moving at a glacial pace. And you're just, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to continually chase you. But unless I do, it's not going to get done. So where is the thing I was promised? Oh, good luck.
I'm definitely Patrick in that I would wait until Ronnie leaves to be like, how dare she, blah, blah, blah. I would never say it to her face. And that's where Patrick and I differ. I just don't think I could. I mean, he's right that sometimes contractors get delayed for like reasons that aren't understandable. In this situation, I don't understand how Patrick can get upset because she ran out of tile. Like, what do you want her to do? She doesn't have the tile to work on the bathroom. It's not like she's like, no, I have an event today I have to go to. I'm busy. She doesn't have the tile, Patrick. And I appreciated that they put this on Patrick and not David. I think an easier story to tell is one where David is the one like complaining. But Patrick, as the person who's like very business oriented, is probably like, we've been closed for 2 days. Like, we're losing money on this every single day. And David is definitely not going to be standing up to Ronnie. Like, not anytime soon.
David is so casual about this whole thing. Like, I think David sees the bright side of just been like, we don't have to deal with customers. Like, this is great for a time period. Let's embrace this time where we, can hang out and not have to worry about the store for like 5 minutes. Because I imagine as like 2 co-owners who don't seem to have another person to work there, that it must be incredibly difficult to constantly keep the desk manned like 24/7, well, not 24/7, but like 9 to 5 when it's open. It's just embrace that time off. But yeah, it lends itself so well to Patrick's very type A behavior of just like, I must control everything, or at least be business-wise, like be in control of everything. It's so strange how he can be incredibly casual and calm in many aspects of like relationships and be that safe pair of hands for David, but when it comes to like the business, this is his thing. And so there's a lot of pressure to like for it to not go wrong, mostly because I think that he knows that should things not go to plan, that David is just going to use it as an excuse to like throw Barbs his way as like a wind up. And so of course it's like, I need to avoid that world in which I'm constantly teased.
Yeah, that's really fair. And Patrick confronts Ronnie, which is definitely not the move, as she was
Mm.
treating Roland to lunch because he was able to get some tile for her. I love that they try to smooth things over with a gift basket, and she specifically asks about like blue cheese, and David's like,
Yeah.
it's really expensive cheese.
And then they're like, but we can run it over.
Yeah, it's perfect. Anytime we're involving some of these side characters, I'm always happy. I love seeing Ronnie. I love that Ronnie has a little bit of an edge to her, that she's not a pushover, that she's willing to stand up to people. She just enhances the scenes that she's in. So I did like this storyline as like a filler, like not a filler, like it's just okay. Just forgive me, all right? Because I'm going to make a comparison that probably doesn't make any sense to most people, but I just got into mosaicing. And I feel like this story is like the grout, because it just fills in the gaps, Like the tile is the Johnny and Stevie and the cabaret storyline. And the grout is David and Patrick at Rose Apothecary.
Check her out, everyone. Poetic as
Thank you.
shit.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely true. Like, also bringing in tiles. Who are you, Jess? This is outrageous. No, it's absolutely true. No, this really is. It's the thing that kind of like holds everything together. You've got the absurdity of cabaret. You've got the emotionality of everything going on with Stevie, and so of course, like kind of. You've got to like glue it all together in some way.
Yeah.
And this absolutely works like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It fills in those gaps. Anything else on the Rose Apothecary bathroom? I mean, the calligraphy workshop sounds nice.
I mean, it does. But I kind of want to know more about this world of like all the events that they're hosting, like in terms of like all the absurdities and the weird kind of like niche, slightly boho, slightly like hippie-ish stuff that David is totally up for. Of just like I want to see that world at some point of just like the weird things, and also who they attract to Schitt's Creek, because I don't really get the vibe that Schitt's Creek, like the townsfolk, are particularly into that stuff.
No, I would imagine they'd get like people from the next few towns over, like popping over when they hear about like, oh, you're offering like a Reiki workshop, like I don't know, like some crazy make your own lotion seminar. I don't know, like I just feel like that they would attract those like really odd sorts of things that you probably would have to go to a bigger city to find, and having them in a small town, maybe a few towns away, isn't as difficult to get to. So at least they're doing good business if they're hosting these little workshops and seminars and stuff.
Yeah. I wonder if there is like, maybe not the Hospies, but like, I know the retailies or something. Maybe they're going to get like some sort of like, some little small shop with like awards and stuff like that. Who knows?
Yeah. Stuart, next, would you like to laugh or cry?
Oh, God. I kind of want to. I want to laugh first, because I think the Stevie thing is, it ties it. Stevie's story ties that together, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So Jocelyn and Moira still need someone for the role of Sally. And unfortunately, they are speaking about it a little too loudly in the work-live space that Alexis is trying to conduct her business in. And she says, okay, fine, you have me. So we get the iconic, incredible, a little bit Alexis. I have some backstory for you, Stuart, on how this came to be.
Yes.
Because
I have questions.
Yeah. So Dan Levy basically was like, we want to do a musical moment, right? And Annie Murphy was like, please, can you let me, like, because all they had from the very onset of the show, Dan Levy was like, I had this idea that at some point in Alexis's life, she had a like reality show called A Little Bit Alexis. So that was canon from the first episode. And then he decided like, it's now makes sense to have the song, right? Annie Murphy had said, please let me try to write it. And because Dan Levy had let Patrick, Noah, work on Simply the Best. He was like, yeah, sure, like work up something, see what you have. And then she was like, well, Noah's a musician and I'm not, and that's a little scary. But her husband, Menno Versteeg, I think,
Canadian musician, if remembering correctly.
Maybe, sure.
No?
I don't know him.
Okay.
Her husband and like his bestie were bandmates. So they were like, we'll help you. And apparently they got inspired when her husband, Menno, he was in some sort of chain fashion store and heard Work Bitch by Britney Spears. Come on.
That's totally the inspo. I'm so happy. Yes. I totally got that. Yeah.
And it was like, well, we want to rip off the feeling of that. Like he said, we wanted to make a song you would do spin class to. And like, it's very, because you have to think about when Alexis had this like reality show, it was during the like Christina, Britney Spears, like all that era
Simple
of
life,
pop
kind
music.
of Paris Hilton kind of like.
They listened to Stars Are Blind by Paris Hilton to get inspired. Exactly. So they were going for something that was an earworm. And like the lyrics didn't even have to be good, but they were like, it was such a bop, right? Like you wanted something that was a bop. So Annie Murphy wrote the lyrics to this song, and then her husband and his former bandmate helped to like actually create it. And it's all very like, I mean, you could tell it's all very like computerized, right? Like there's not really like instruments, it's more just beats and all that put together.
Yeah, it's an absolute like garage band like put together with the vocals and stuff. Yeah, so good.
They played it for Dan Levy and he immediately was like, this is incredible. Yes. And it became like, at some point, I want to say during COVID, because COVID was when the last season was airing. So it was only like a year old at that point. During COVID, it became like a TikTok kind of sound that everyone used. That's, again, why I'm surprised you haven't seen it. And it also became sort of like a very big thing in the drag community as well. And I guess Annie Murphy was at like some sort of a drag brunch, and one of the drag queens approached her and was like, I have your song like in my set. Is that okay? And she was like, yes. And when it came on, like everyone knew the words because it just became this thing. Yeah.
How did the algorithm on like TikTok protect me? How has it not been exposed to me when I'm picking up like even like small Drag Race adjacent references in this episode, and I'm not picking up the dragon like, because I meant it totally is an absolute drag number that they would absolutely parody. How have I avoided it? I'm so happy, but everything about that, like the whole making of it, is so perfect. That's incredible. And
yeah,
I'm so glad that we know more of that information about how it all came together, because I'm pining for this information now. I kind of want to, like, I've said to myself, I'm not going to like go searching for too much before I get a bit of approval here, because I'm not sure if like with some other things that like maybe they evolve like down the line. Because I imagine if I Googled Cabaret Schitt's Creek, I would have found out about the Stevie casting. So like I'm really kind of weary about any of that stuff. Am I free to do that?
I think you're safe to Google a little bit, Alexis. I don't think there's anything that would come up that would be like spoilery in any way. But
the full version, I have heard that.
Yeah, now, you've listened to the full version.
Todd, and it was so funny.
Yeah, it's incredible. Everything about this. I know the lyrics to a little bit, Alexis. Like I've seen this scene too many times to count. It's probably the scene I've watched the most, beyond maybe Fold in the Cheese on this show. And I love it so much. Like from the I'm a little bit tipsy when I drive my car. Like it's
so bad. She's admitting to a crime in this.
I'm a little bit singer even when I'm not. It's so good. It's so funny, and it's just, I can't even, it's the outfit, it's the way she cannot dance, it's the fact that she says, I've chosen to perform the title track of my critically reviewed limited reality series. A little bit, Alexis. Feel free to sing along if you know the words. No one knows the words, Alexis. Like,
which is outrageous.
Yeah.
That's probably the most unbelievable thing about this whole scenario.
Yeah. It's so good. And I love that. And this all makes sense that Jocelyn is like, well, Moira just doesn't want Alexis because she doesn't want her to like steal the show. She doesn't want to
Yeah.
like share the shine, share the spotlight. But no, it's because Alexis absolutely sucks and got none of her mother's talent. And I love when she's like, "Oh, I thought the apple wouldn't fall far from the tree," and Moira just goes, "Different orchard."
Moira
so
was on
shitty.
fire this week with some of like the
Yeah.
things that she came out with, like some absolute real stingers. I think for me the most hilarious thing though was just the way in which she kind of like forcefully kicked Jocelyn to like end it now, and she was like, "Come on, that's enough. We've done our time."
Yeah. It's so good. It's so funny. Jocelyn, being like the kind-hearted soul she is, doesn't know how to let Alexis down easy, so she gets her chocolates, which of course Alexis misconstrues as she got the part, but instead she's going to be not a cat, but some Kit Kat something.
Club.
A silent role. But
It's the Kit Kat Club, Jess. We're gonna get complaints.
I'm sorry. I've seen a lot of musical theater at this point. I've not watched Cabaret. Ask me about Hamilton, okay? And I will answer all the questions. Cabaret.
I'm sorry, I don't think you could be more millennial than you are right
It's
now.
not my
You're on a
fault that Hamilton
podcast
is
reviewing Schitt's Creek wearing a I'm Kenneth hoodie, screaming, asking me about Hamilton. You were a Tumblr post incarnate.
I like what I like. I like Hamilton. I started getting TikToks of people that are doing like that sing and sign the Hamilton songs at the same time, and it's so fascinating, like an ASL, American Sign Language. I don't know. I assume you don't use ASL, I guess, because you're not in America.
We use BSL.
British
Sign Language. Yeah.
I just had to check.
I think the key difference that I know between American and British Sign Language, gosh, this is a tangent, is that your alphabet can be done with one hand, whereas ours requires two hands to be done.
Oh.
So possibly a better version of sign language, I imagine, if you can do it with one hand.
Well, yeah, if you could do it, that's great, because you have something in your hand always.
The best piece of financial advice I've ever received is to pay yourself first. That's why now with every paycheck I receive, I start by putting a little bit away for those rainy days. Today's episode is sponsored by Acorns. Acorns is a financial wellness app that makes it easy to start saving and investing for your future. Acorns lets you get started with the spare money you've got right now, even if all you've got is spare change. You don't need to be an expert. Acorns recommends a diversified portfolio that can help you weather all of the market's ups and downs. Using Acorns, before I knew it, I had a couple $1,000s in a little nest egg account. Sign up now and join the over 14 million all-time customers who have already saved and invested over $25 billion with Acorns. Head to acorns.com/heartbreak or download the Acorns app to get started. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 1 compensation provided. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/heartbreak.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed Sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
So, Alexis gets the part of the Kit Kat Club, sexy dressed, nonverbal character. Yeah. And I just love Moira, like being on Alexis's side and being like, yes, Jocelyn, why? This is such a you decision. And then immediately switching to Jocelyn's side when Alexis is happy with the role of Kit Kat Club.
Oh, yeah. I love it. It's like, oh yeah, like I'll get in touch with my agent and we'll get like negotiating it. And then Moira's also just like, I would have my agent accept that offer, dear.
Yeah. And I also, something underrated about Moira is the way she pronounces the word question. That would be a Jocelyn question.
Question.
It's like Sebastian Rain.
Very Sebastian.
The Kit Kat Club, does it have anything to do with the candy?
I don't think so.
Okay. It's been bothering me. And
I don't know. Someone might come along and be like, Stuart, you really didn't retain any information. But I want to say I'm fairly confident that it's not.
I mean, you don't want to be embarrassed again like you were on our Last of Us podcast when apparently I misquoted Dickens, Charles Dickens for Shakespeare.
For context. The best of times, worst of times was attributed to Shakespeare on our other podcast, Look for the Light. And quite rightly, this was pointed out to us. Yes,
I was thinking of to be or not to be. Okay, people. Anyway, what am I supposed to be here? Am I supposed to know everything?
Ask her about Hamlet.
Ask me about Hamlet. Husband is staring at me from the corner of the room, like, what are you talking about? So the other people included in this play, which we need to talk about, and I don't know their roles because Jocelyn was really standing in the way of the board, to be honest.
Yes.
There's some randos, but we also have Ronnie, Bob, and Ray all in the play together, which is incredible. We know, I want to say they said what part Bob was going to be. I don't remember what it was. He had to do a Steely Glaze. He had to do his little jog.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's going to nail it anyway. Yeah. Like
obviously.
Based on that audition, of course. Yeah. I'm sad that we didn't get Ronnie's audition.
Yeah. She didn't have to audition, I don't think. I think she just glared at them and they were like, you're hired.
Yeah. I wonder if Ronnie's offer only at this point in her career.
I think she should be if she's not already.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we have going on with Cabaret. And then we're going to add in our last cast member at the very end of the Johnny and Stevie storyline. So we're going to the Hospies. Johnny tries to pretend like he's not. He's like, oh, who cares? It's just the regional hospitality award. But he has an acceptance speech written.
Yeah,
two suits.
I mean, he's suited and booted. He's dressed like the maestro of a Lebanese orchestra. Like, he clearly is so eager for these. Like, I don't think I've seen Johnny more excited for something. Because it's like it's a pat on the back for some good hard work that they've put in, and also it's just a super corporate event. Like, this is his old world, right? This is him reliving the glory days.
Yeah, this is his thing. This is his favorite sort of thing. So of course he's going to be excited. He loves getting to dress up. I mean, he wears like a suit every day anyway. Now he actually has a excuse to wear one. And he goes with Stevie. Stevie doesn't care. Stevie doesn't care about the Hospies. She's excited to spend some time with Amir. Okay, maybe I'm dumb. Maybe I need an adult to explain this to me. When Amir and Stevie leave Johnny to go like get drinks at the bar, did they just go have sex real quick?
I think they had a quickie, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I was like, I don't know. That seems like in the middle of the award. Like, what do I know? I don't know.
Yeah, if I don't know, if maybe it could have been made a bit funnier, like maybe just like the hair just be a bit more tousled or something like that. Yeah. Maybe to like drive that home and have Johnny be really oblivious.
Yeah, your zipper's not done up. Or, something to make it a little more obvious. Because I was like, is that what happened? Is that what they is that what they just did?
No, they just went for like a little private spooch for a bit, maybe. Could be that. It could be more innocent.
It makes what happens afterward just even more egregious. Because Stevie wants to spend the next couple of days together. She's like, oh, I took Monday off. Like, I figured we could like bop around to a couple hotels together. And he basically is like, I thought we were just having fun because my situation won't change. I travel a lot. You run a motel, so you can't travel a ton. And he basically doesn't want to take this any further. And I know maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not supposed to be super mad at Amir because it's just kind of just like they have different mindsets for like what they want their future to be. But I just hate him because he hurts Stevie.
Yeah. I've been trying to reconcile this as well because I was wondering whether or not it's been flagged that Stevie is maybe more into this than he is. But I think every sign that we've at least had of everything going on. I mean, he's the one like answering all those messages and sending her loads of messages while they've been at the party. Like, so he seems to be in on this as well. I think he's just a player, and I don't like that because it's like that's
No.
Stevie.
Yeah, don't hurt Stevie. Like, it's not okay. Don't make her feel like garbage. And especially because the result of this is that she feels like, well, why was I stupid enough to think anyone would want to date a like hotel receptionist? Like, that's what she says. And it's just heartbreaking. Like, this guy's just a douche. Like, just you deserve someone so much better than this anyway, Stevie. It just like kills me to see Stevie so brokenhearted and her to say to Johnny, like, no, we could just go home. Like, yeah, the plans just got canceled. And he just like, I love their little hug. Like, it's such dad mode for Johnny. I love it. Like, I feel like he's really making up for missed opportunities with David and Alexis, right? When he was really busy and they weren't as tight of a family. And I think he now sees Stevie as like an extension of that family and he wants to just take care of her.
Do you get the vibe that there was potentially a scene on the cutting room floor when he goes to get the bags and goes and like says something to Amir maybe? Because I kind of felt like I was a little bit both looking forward to, but also concerned that we were going to get a real kind of like, you made Stevie cry punch or telling him like a truth or something like that. And maybe if Amir had been more of an asshole about it, maybe we might have got that. But I felt like that scene was kind of slightly setting that up for that kind of to follow potentially.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, if Amir is more of an asshole, like if the way it ends is that Stevie shows up and he's with someone else and like, you know, I don't know. Like that I think is different because Johnny isn't really the type to like confront people. So I never really got the impression that that was where the scene was going.
I thought it might have been like another instance like with the Taylors where like a bit of a home truth is said about some egregious kind of behavior, that kind of thing, not rather than like a real confrontation. Like if Johnny had gone over and smacked Amir, right, I think that would have been really out of character and would have been really strange.
Yeah, I could see him making like a snide comment or something like that. But yeah, he mostly just wants to like get out of there with Stevie, like take her home. He's like, we don't have to do any of this stuff. Like, who cares about these after parties? Let's just like bring you home. And then to know that, because then there's kind of like this imaginary off-screen scene that we have to like imagine happened, right? Where Johnny and Moira have a conversation about what happened with Stevie. Because then Moira shows up at Stevie's apartment. Stevie's like pouring herself a glass of wine. Moira shows up with a bottle and is basically like, and basically says like, that's his loss. Like, you're incredible and it's his loss. And she recruits Stevie to be Sally in Cabaret. And it's just a very, very sweet moment. And I think part of it is because we have to imagine that Johnny immediately told Moira everything and that Moira took it upon herself to be like, I'll fix this, you know?
Yeah, because it's one thing to like, for him to go back and to tell Moira almost like in a gossip sense of like, oh, I can't believe what happened today. Because obviously I imagine that he was probably back home a lot earlier than anticipated because he was talking about like parties and everything like that. And so in explaining that, but it's another thing for him to say that and then Moira to go, oh, that's really sad for TV. But then to think on it and think about how similar they are in like characters at the time of like, and why this could potentially work and why Stevie's got the potential. And it speaks so lovely about how there is more belief in Stevie than Stevie has in herself from Moira, who ordinarily is a very selfish and kind of not really kind of an outward looking person in terms of other people and their lives. Like Moira often comes across as someone that is very much like, no, I'm the star and everyone else is just supporting cast. And it's nice to think that Moira does have that awareness of Stevie. And I think it lends itself to what you said before. It's that Stevie's family now. And Stevie really is someone that they really all care about. And so, yeah, I think that is... I don't know. Part of me kind of would love to see that, but I think it's also one of the it's one of the nice headcanon things to think about happening in the background, because you can make
Oh
those
yeah.
jumps. You don't have to really take too much of a leap to imagine that scene taking place.
Yeah, certainly. I don't think it was something we needed to see, but I like the idea that, because we know all the way back from, I want to say season 1, that Moira talks about the fact that she's from a small town, and that
Mhm.
Johnny was kind of the person who was able to get her out of there, and then her job took off, and she went on to bigger and better things. But I imagine that in a certain way, in certain, if we're looking way back in time, she does relate to Stevie a little bit in that way. And so when Stevie says she was trying to get like a shock to her daily routine by dating someone new, not dating a townie, right? Like not doing pony rides with Jacob or whatever the heck his name was.
Jake, how dare
Is that his name? Jake? Yeah, Jake.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's what she was trying to do. And I like Moira saying, like, well, this isn't coming in the form of a man. This cabaret show, as we heard in last episode, jolted her out of her routine. And so she's hoping it will do the same thing for Stevie. And I think, she relates Stevie to Sally, saying like she's a headstrong young woman who's been knocked around a few times, looking to make the most of herself. And I think she can see that Stevie would be a good fit. I mean, they also don't have anyone else for the role. And so I think that kind of works in her favor as well. But I think kind of a 2 birds, 1 stone type of situation for Moira. Because let's not overlook the fact that this is also very helpful for Moira to round out her cast, to get someone in the lead role, especially someone who she has some level of control over, in terms of like, she sees Stevie every single day, she's right down the hall. So I just love this moment, because I don't think we've really established this Stevie Johnny relationship and kind of like this father-daughter dynamic they have. Moira's rarely involved, but I find that whenever we do get Moira Stevie scenes, they're often more sentimental. And there's usually, right, like the episode I'm thinking where Moira's death is like all over the news. And Stevie is just like, well, isn't it nice that like so many people like cared? Like they do often have these like minor hearts. And I really love this one for that.
Yeah, I think it works. It's so well, and my heart grew like a million times, like as I was watching it. Of course, it was hilarious when she's there and like saying, praising herself and be like, this inspired piece of stunt casting was an idea all on my own, because it's like trying to avert that kind of belief that Johnny's like said, oh, well, why don't you give her that to like cheer her up? And it's not that. It is that I think that it's an idea that Moira does come up with, because she kind of sees those parallels and also sees the potential in Stevie that Stevie doesn't see in herself. But of course, she has to level and tell the truth and be like, and we can't find anyone else, which is so funny in the delivery. But like, it does lend itself to seeing the potential in Stevie. Like, even in the beginning of the episode, where Stevie looks fantastic and Johnny's trying to like say, you look amazing, and Stevie's just not having it, because there's this real lack of confidence in Stevie, and this kind of really detrimental view that she has of herself as someone that kind of just sits behind the desk of a motel all their life. And it's like, Stevie, you're so much more than all of these negative thoughts that you have. You're wonderful. And I think it speaks to such a high degree of how wonderful she is, that the Roses of all people see it the most in them. Like the people that ordinarily don't see other people in such a kind of complex way, they see it in Stevie, because she's been stern with them. Like, she's very much like didn't take or tolerate any of their BS very early on, but she has always been there as a kind of supportive person for them. And of course, they see like a spark in her, like I think everyone sees in Stevie. This is why Stevie's such a fascinating character, and why I kind of, at times in the past, I've been very kind of like, we need more Stevie. And I've been really kind of like down on the fact that we haven't had as much Stevie as I want. But then I also think that really lends itself to this slow burn that we've had with the character, where now we're really getting a Stevie shine. And I'm like, this feels really earned, because it's been there, like this untapped potential, and we're finally like kind of seeing it. I think this is fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying so hard to bite my tongue right now because there's more I want to say that I can't say now because we're like, wait till the end of the season sort of stuff to like talk about it properly. But what I will say is when you would complain about the lack of Stevie and like wanting more storyline for her, I remember thinking, I cannot wait to get to the storyline because Stuart's going to love it. Like, I totally agree with you. Stevie is a character who is unlike many other sitcom characters because she is more of like the straight man. Like, she doesn't have this like pizzazz that a lot of these characters do, and that's for good reason, right? Like, let the Moiras of the universe, let the Roses all together have the pizzazz. Stevie is more of your straight man, but she has a spark that the Roses can recognize, right? Like, they're good at seeing talent. They're good at like seeing the talent and just sparkle in someone, even if they don't see it in themselves. So I really love what they've done with the character of Stevie. I think there were times where we were saying, gosh, I really wish we could get more Stevie and David together. Like, their scenes are so much fun. And it does, because we've waited so long to get a storyline like this, it does feel like we've really, really earned it. We've paid our dues. We've been waiting. And change doesn't happen overnight. It's just like unrealistic to hope and dream that characters will change in massive ways in just like one season. So for us to be on season 5 and we're finally starting to get some like Stevie growth moments, not that we haven't had some, right? I think her going into business with Johnny certainly is like a huge step for Stevie, but the more emotional growth moments, I think, it's really fun to see them start here with Moira. And of course they have to end on the joke of Moira being like, oh, I see you've already opened a bottle. I won't burden you with another one. The line back. It's just iconic.
So funny.
In the same episode where David is like, oh, but so you don't need the basket anymore? We're all good. It's like, yeah, these
same orchard, same tree, like those two.
Yeah. No, overall, I really enjoy this episode. I think it has both the incredible comedy of a little bit Alexis and then also the heart of like the Johnny Stevie storyline with the grout of the Rose Apothecary storyline.
The poetry.
Anything else about this episode, Stuart, before we get into some feedback that we got?
There were too many good like one-liners in this like episode to really kind of like scream out. Like the Roland even had a really funny scene with like the whole Brad Pitt, his handsome brother, and Johnny. Johnny. Just the silly things like that. As well. Like I quoted that earlier, but the Lebanese maestro line really made me laugh when it like happened. This was chock full of like quality, decent quotes, but also so many that like again, like it's so packed with things that it's hard to really pull out like distinct ones because I think this whole episode like fired on all cylinders. I don't think there was really a misstep at all with this episode. I think you can guess my rankings for it, but we'll get into that, I'm sure.
Well, let's get into some feedback first. From last podcast, we did hear from Jared saying, I agree with Stuart that I do not want to see more of Gwen. To me, a great asset to any sitcom is having a basically non-existent character that has all these wild things going on in the background that you never see. As a good example for ruining that, see everybody's least favorite Ted Lasso episode, Beard After Hours.
Oh,
I liked Beard After Hours.
I liked that episode as well.
Yeah, it was fun.
I do see what Jess saying though, because like the Beard episode obviously is one of the worst ranked episodes of like Ted Lasso, and it had a lot of backlash because it was just like absolutely like different than what was expected.
Yeah, we're taking a diversion.
People were really wanting like that comforting warm hug of Ted Lasso. But yeah. The Gwen of it all, I think if I was to tolerate just a smidge more Gwen, maybe her turning up with even just more absurdities, but like in background shots or something that just make you go, what the hell is going on? was quite funny. But I also do love the kind of exposition comedy, like with Alexis and Gwen and all of these weird things that they get up to. I like just being told about it sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just love Gwen. We also got feedback from Jen. My favorite part might be that Alexis is represented by Alexis Rose Talent, but the entire thing is absolutely perfect.
Of course. Oh my god. Do you think she's actually got the business cards for it, or is this just an on the fly kind of making up the business
I
name
think she
up
probably
and
has the business cards.
Yeah, I like to
feels
think
like
that
she
she probably
would.
has, just in
Yeah.
case.
Also, it does very much track. We were talking about like, oh, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, all that stuff. When Johnny says she wanted to be the next Jessica Simpson, that read
Oh my
so
God.
true to me. Do you remember when Jessica Simpson had like edible?
Do you remember Jessica Simpson?
Do you remember when Jessica Simpson had like edible beauty products where they would like, no, hold on. I need to look this up. Edible. It was edible like lotions and stuff like that.
Why
Yeah.
would you want edible lotions?
I don't know, but they were like dessert themed.
Is it like you're applying a lotion, you're like one for you, one for me, and then you're like eating?
Yeah. And
the
then
only weird thing that I remember with Jessica Simpson is that she didn't know whether something was tuna or chicken.
Oh yeah, but it's
like
chicken
the
of the
iconic thing.
sea, and she can't understand. But is it chicken or is it tuna? And Nick was like, "It's tuna." And she's like, "But it says it's chicken of the sea." And it's just like, "You don't," and he's like, "You don't know what you're eating right now." Yeah, that was the whole thing.
The choices of who we put on TV when media was limited to what was aired on TV alone. The choices we made. Christ.
Hold on here. I have the receipts of the, where is it? Hold on.
She's searching.
I'm trying my best. Hold on a second. I gotta make this full screen, then I could do it. Okay.
You know I'm totally cutting and putting a little slide in here.
Yeah, it's fine. This is it. And you could eat it. She had all these different lines.
What?
Dessert beauty.
Why? Just why? That's one of the worst Photoshop jobs I've ever seen.
I mean, yeah. Just listen, she's trying her best, she's trying. Okay, let's move on into our ratings, where we give out simply the best and disgruntled pelican points. Stuart, do you want to go first? Who's simply the best for you this episode?
Tough episode. Tough episode. Because really, I mean, I think there are 3 candidates simply the best.
Yeah.
This time around. I think I'm gonna go with possibly a safer option. I'm gonna go with Moira because she was tied to so many of the kind of good things, and also the gesture of casting Stevie, and seeing the potential in her and actually being one to act on it. I think is a very kind of lovely thing to do. So I'm gonna go Moira. I'm interested to see who you go with.
Yeah, there's certainly a number of options I could pick here. Stevie and Johnny come to mind, but I have to give Alexis a point. A little bit of Alexis is iconic. I sing this song regularly. And the fact that Annie Murphy wrote it, I also feel like I'm kind of giving Annie Murphy a point with it, by giving it to Alexis. So I just love this song so much. It's so stupid. It's everything. It is just I'm a little bit single, even when I'm not. It's so good. It's so good. How do you not love it? Oh, I love it so much.
Too catchy because I just keep on singing it. Every time you start it, I'm like, well, let's just
la,
keep
la,
going.
la, la, la,
La, la, la, la.
It's so good. It's so good. So yeah, that's my simply the best point. It's gonna go to Alexis. Disgruntled pelican point is a little tougher though, because I don't want to give it to who actually deserves it. Fine. I will give it to Patrick. What he did was wrong.
Wow.
Don't get on Ronnie's case. I know she just needed to get the title. He was wearing blue so many times this episode, though. Really
I'm gonna say, Jess, it is possible for you to change yours because I'm giving it to Amir.
Well, I didn't know if he was
allowed.
a viable option because, like,
Wait, he's been in multiple episodes.
You know what? Fine, I'll take any chance to not have to give it to Patrick because truly, it's breaking my heart a little bit to
Well,
do
in that
it.
case, can I give it to Patrick?
No. You're a true monster.
No, I kind of like I was gonna fight for this because I was like, Amir is. I feel like he could have handled it so much better. Like he was very dismissive of Stevie's reaction.
Yeah.
And really kind of like, it's one thing to say like, okay, well, this is different from what I'm expecting. But I felt like he dealt with it in the worst possible way.
In a public setting too.
And was a dick about it. So like, yeah. And also he upset Stevie. So I'm like.
Yeah, get bent, Amir. That's how we feel about you.
Wow.
Yeah. No wig watch this week. No Moira wig, unfortunately.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it
the
just
one
happens.
the one lacking of this episode is a lack of a wig.
It's true. It's true. I really wish we could have gotten one. But that means it's time to tier rank our episodes. As usual, hot shit, full bouquet. Love that journey for me. You, David, shit out of luck. I think we can all agree this is going to go in hot shit. It's just a matter of where in hot shit it's going. Am I right, Stuart?
Yep, it's going to the top, and if it isn't, me and you're going to have a fight.
Even without a little bit of Alexis, I feel like this episode would probably be in hot shit regardless. But with the cabaret stuff, this like with Stevie, a little bit of Alexis, all of it is just a perfect little recipe for success.
Yeah.
So
and to get this color of episode 8 episodes into the season, it not being like a finale or a premiere, I'm so happy. Like because it means that we're not getting a mid-season lull, we're getting a mid-season peak. I just hope that it's an upward trajectory. Or even just we can stay at the same level. This for the remainder would be great. Just don't go down.
Listen, I'm telling you, there are some really lovely, incredible episodes to come. One of which is next week's episode. So, would you like to hear the title?
Yes.
Season 5, episode 9, The MVP. Do you have MVPs in Britain? Most valuable player.
Yeah. I mean, you get that
like
for
a
like
sports thing.
Yeah. So in football, in soccer, as you may call it, we have.
I don't like the way you just said that.
Soccer. Yeah. We have man or woman of the match. Like depending on who was most important. But yeah, we understand what MVP means. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more
what do you
American
think it's about?
than actor, I think. I don't know. Like MVP. I mean, it has a sporting connotation. Are we going to get them playing? Maybe they're going to play football? No, they won't play football.
Footy.
No. Footy. Do you want to game
a little
footy?
bit of footy.
Yeah, footy. Do you want to do a bit of keepy happy?
Excuse me. Is that hacky sack?
Yeah, but with a football. It's keepy happy.
You know, I saw it on Taskmaster and I literally thought that guy was just saying it as like, it's the way kids say it, but okay, you just said it and you said it very seriously. So keepy uppy is a thing you say.
I love that you're continually surprised by our language and that you speak it daily.
No, I do not. You speak the Queen's English.
King's English now. She
she did die. Okay, would it help you if I told you that we won't be alone? We will be joined by a guest, and that guest is Zach.
What is Zach an expert on? Zach's a runner.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Yeah, he runs.
So like, is there? I don't know. Is it a running thing? I don't know.
I think Zach. If people know our friend Zach, he does like sports.
Oh, is this okay? I'm gonna. Yeah, this is a. Are they gonna be playing baseball?
I will say one other thing to note. My husband is very sad he didn't get this episode to guest.
Yeah, it's a baseball thing. It's a baseball thing.
So that will be next week. the
Amazing.
MVP. But yeah, looking at the titles of the episodes to come, I think with the exception of maybe one of them, and even that episode, I remember things that happen. It's just I don't think it's like top tier. The remainder of these episodes for season 5 are all really incredible. So I'm very excited. And I really like next week's episode. So very, very excited.
Awesome.
Who's going to be playing baseball, Stuart?
Ray, because he does everything.
I mean, he does everything. He's great at everything. Of course,
I imagine Ronnie would be really good at baseball.
Okay.
Oh my god, maybe it's like scrap Ray.
Okay, no
have
more
it
Ray.
be Ronnie. Have it be like the Jazza Gals like charity baseball game or something.
I love that for them.
So yeah, and like
they could
Ronnie
sing
takes it seriously, and Moira has to play baseball.
I was gonna say they could sing the national anthem, but I think they'd have to sing "O Canada." Do they sing "O Canada" at baseball games in Canada?
You're asking me.
My husband is nodding. They do. We have confirmation. They sing "O Canada."
Amazing.
He just said, "I'm pretty sure." Well, now you're going to be embarrassed if they don't. But that's for next week. So very excited for that. I cannot wait to talk about that episode. For now, I'm going to go listen to a little bit of Alexis on repeat until then.
This is my life now. I will be joining you in that same endeavor.
But yeah, we'll be back next week. And until then, everyone, warmest regards.
And best wishes.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed Sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.